Okay, time to pack your dungarees and start chewing on some straw. We are in the farmlands. Let's see what we've got. Hammer and saw, get the loot and get out. Carl is our star hero. I'm also bringing Michonne and Rick just to create a little family unit. Is this a team layout, a combo of characters that I would recommend as something highly effective? No. For one thing, I would not really have Carl in the mix if I had any choice, because I don't. He has some uses as a defender for your outpost, things like that. Yeah, sure, he's definitely got some value. He is so frustrating for other human players to go up against. It's not even funny. Well, it is funny. It's hilarious. But in game, I mean, he is definitely not a hero that I consider to be sort of very valuable or worth using. Fact is, he can he can potentially stop you from dying, but his skill only comes in when you're already in the most dire circumstances and you can't rely on it or anything. So I like it. I think it's a very fluffy leadership trait. It fits in with his character and what he goes through in the show, but it I don't think he's a great leader. Anyway, we got the whole fam here. We've got Michonne and Rick joining in. That's a fairly straightforward mission. Glenn could be a good choice. Obviously, you can search crates and still have an action left. Give him a weapon with Swift Strike, or that gives you an action after a kill, and he becomes a bit of an MVP. Fairly small map, shorter range weapons are fine. There's a threat counter, so you might want to think about things that are silent, or negate the threat. Get the loot and get back. Looks like we've got another one. That golden crossbow. If you had the platinum survival pass, you've got a silent crossbow, which I've been using. I've been enjoying it. I don't think it's necessarily the greatest weapon that's ever come out, but it is good. So we got a lot of boxes to choose from here. You didn't die. I think that when you have searched all of the supplies and you've got the correct one, then some walkers jump out. So what you might want to do, what I did just there, was just hold off. Okay, there we go. They've come in from the because the threat counters hit 0. That's absolutely fine. Michonne, you can kind of use her if you're concerned about the threat counter. She makes a fatal attack against a walker. There's a chance that she will reduce the threat, which is pretty nice. I mean, really, I think it's maybe wiser to start with the crates at the back, and then work at the right of the screen, and then you work your way back to the left, because that's where you're escaping from the map. Rather than find yourself get caught at the very back of the map and then have to work your way back. That's definitely something that you could do. There's a threat counter, but you can take your time. Especially if you can reduce that threat, or at least not add to it. There's a couple of blind spots, and you might well get taken. You might well get jumped. It's definitely happened to me on this map before. But yeah, I think that principle of starting from the right side of the screen, the back of the map, and then working your way towards the exit is not a bad idea. Open the gate and get out. All right. Looks like we've got another goo. Goos, of course, can be a problem for ranged characters. When they die to a ranged attack, they explode and then wind up stunning all of you guys. which, you know, is about as much fun as it sounds. I think we would be crazy not to use a charge attack here. Boom. Yes, sure, we set off the goo, we caused more threat. But this is one of those ones where you're looking at sort of balancing patience and haste. As soon as we start opening this, things will start appearing. There we go, there's another goo. Fine, we're just going to blow them up. What you can do, as I've done here, you can beat that threat counter, and that's maybe not a bad idea. You could use things like... gosh, what was Michonne's walker called? Her camouflage. One of the supports lets you just glide straight by walkers without them paying any attention at full speed. You could give that to a scout, and I don't think you'd quite be able to reach... Well, you might be able to, depending on where the walkers are. But you could, you know, just rush past them, start opening that gate, just get it done before the threat counter even ticks over. Characters like Beta, Daryl, you know, they have unique skills when you go past a walker. Kind of a good idea as well. You're going to have to fend off that goo that just jumps out of the tractor when you start opening the gate. Plus a couple more normal walkers will come as well. So I think weapons that can reduce the walkers' mobility are a very good idea. Strawmen take down both of the tough walkers. Alrighty, Roo. Now, is this one of those ones where once you've completed the objective, it finishes? If I recall, that is the case. Now, our big guys haven't yet turned up. There they are. Hiding behind the tractor. Yeah, you better hide. It says walkers, so there's another one. There he is. Let's do what we like to do, which is to set them alight. Use a bonus attack here. If it hadn't killed that tank, I still would have been able to escape because it was a bonus attack. And we're going to have some reinforcements coming in, so I'm going to go into this corner right here. There's no rush at all. We've got him on fire. Go here, perfectly safe. Let's give this a little cookie power. So, you've got those two specific targets that you must take out. Once you've done that, doesn't matter how many more zombies are on the map, you get to leave. So they've got to be priority number one. Doing things like setting them alight early on is something that I always like to do, and then you just... It's not a case that you don't have to worry about them, but they're being taken care of. Characters like Tyrese could be useful. He'll slow them down and make it so that the big guy's health is being chipped away at. Mercer, of course, absolutely fantastic against really tough targets. Guardian Carol, if you've got lots of weapons that can create status effects, you get loads of charges. Ditto Princess. So killing all walkers. This one gets tricky at harder levels, that is for damn sure. You can stay in the corner and camp, which is great. That's cool because even if you are using ranged weapons, you can kind of, you know, plink away at them. They're not even necessarily going to notice you. Sure, sometimes they will, sometimes they won't. It does mean that you've got little room to maneuver if you find yourself in a situation where you would rather be getting away from the things. What you want to be doing is just taking them on one at a time. If you've got ranged characters, yeah, sure, just stay at that extreme range. There are going to be some big scary types of walkers as well. I mean, for the most part, holding up in a corner with, you know, covering as many avenues of fire as you possibly can, setting things alight, you know, that's kind of a good idea. When you actually make an attack on your turn, you might well alert other walkers to your presence, and then they're going to come for you. It's a bit of a tricky one. You got blind spots. It's not a huge map. There's not a lot of room to maneuver. Sure, you can focus fire quite easily, but it can get tricky. Get to the exit and into the main house. Okie dokie, looks like we've got some tanks to deal with. And we're back to having a threat counter as well. Yeah, so definitely encountered this one before. Broadly speaking, I tend to actually recommend on this one, what I have found worked is rushing it. You know, just sprint through. There's a threat counter. There's other walkers going to start coming in. There's all this. There's all that. I really think just pegging it. Now, that's easier said than done when you're on a harder difficulty setting. But if you can think outside the box, you might have characters like Beta, Huntsman Daryl. You might use Michonne's Walker trick, or piles of guts, or flares. All you've got to do is get to that green bar, and you're okay. So you don't necessarily have to kill everything that's in front of you. You just have to get there. That is the objective, and sometimes keeping in mind the objective is the most important thing. Okay, this is a pretty enjoyable set of missions. This one swings around fairly often, and the missions don't take too long. They can be a challenge, but there's usually a way around. I think like this is a very sort of standard sort of set of weekly challenge missions, and that's not to diss them or anything. I think it is a good, solid set of enjoyable missions. All right, now if you have any particular dramas, please do let me know, and either I or somebody else might be able to help you in the comments. Still no Guild War on for a while, so why don't you and your guild go for an all-time best score? There's no distractions. See what you can do. See if you can get a personal best. Good luck with that, and as ever, thank you for watching.